As I've observed elsewhere, Transformers still being a viable franchise this far into its existence is owed overwhelmingly to its main progenitor, the original 1980s Generation 1 animated series being a lot better than it had any right to be. That's not to go and say it was good by any means. By any objective measure, Transformers Classic had the same problems that plagued every other 80s advertainment franchise. Inconsistent animation, awkward dialogue, repetitive storytelling, a cheese factor that was off the charts, and occasionally the employment of casually racist stereotypes so egregious they actually made recently departed voiceover legend Casey Kasem quit the series in protest.
As Supreme Military Commander, King of Kings, and President for life of the Socialist Democratic Federated Republic of Carbonia, I order you Decepticons out of my country!
But more often than not, Transformers stood above a good many of its peers, boasting an assortment of episodes built on solid, well-written scripts by both established and rising talents like Donald F. Glutt, Paul Dini, Marv Wolfman, Jerry Conway, Steve Gerber, and others. Sure, it was still a silly children's cartoon about robots turning into cars, but in now classic episodes like The Key to Vector Sigma, The Dweller in the Depths, and The God Gambit, it was the best silly children's cartoon about robots turning into cars it could be, which I contend is why it's remembered with so much more sincere, unironic fondness than, say, He-Man or Thundercats tend to be. Transformers was dopey, but sometimes, mind you, it was almost brilliant.
You are either lying or you're stupid!
I'm stupid!
And other times it was just plain ridiculous, especially when those aforementioned attempts to tell an interesting story in the context of a junky low-budget toy commercial crashed up against the realities of being a junky low-budget toy commercial, and nowhere was that more apparent than in our subject today. Season 2, Episode 27, The Golden Lagoon, which for my money is the single most thematically bizarre episode of the original series. Golden Lagoon is mainly known as the Lone Star Turn episode for one of my favorite Autobots, Beachcomber. Beachcomber's vehicle form was a Desert Patrol Vehicle, or DPV, specifically a 1980s Chenoweth FAV. Basically, he's just a military-grade dune buggy, but as a character, Beachcomber was the Autobots' naturalist and geologist, which are apparently professions that exist somehow for a species of sentient robots from an entirely mechanical planet. It doesn't make any sense, but the basic idea of one of these giant clunky monstrosities gently observing bucolic nature conjures up a kind of cool Miyazaki-esque sci-fi image for me. His persona? Well, that's where it got interesting. Beachcomber was the pacifist Transformer. His expertise in and affection for all living things had rendered him ideologically opposed to the kind of warfighting that was pretty much the entire franchise's sole reason for existing. I'd love to know what the thought process was that led the producers to conclude that this was a character the series desperately needed. In any case, the episode itself opens with Beachcomber, Perceptor, Sea Spray, Powerglide, and Warpath, and wow, if that isn't the some kid has to like this one the best Transformer team of all time, walking on the beach for some reason when they're attacked by Decepticons. While the other hypothetically more useful Autobots engage in the usual firefight, Beachcomber takes cover in a hidden cave and discovers Narnia, basically. Look, just watch.
Oh my, it's paradise. Well, let's see if I can learn your language. Well, how do I say, it's a beautiful day? Oh, I guess I said something wrong.
Yep, that's pretty much the iconic Beachcomber moment of this series. Anyway, this is where Beachcomber finds the Golden Lagoon of the title.
Great Maximus! Electrum.
Yes, Electrum, a previously unmentioned and never to be mentioned again element that coats Transformers in a laser blast-proof golden finish. Unfortunately, Beachcomber's paradise is soon discovered via the clever spy tactic of flying over it and looking down, and overrun by invincibility-seeking Decepticons.
Starscream, why don't you test the Electrum for me?
You sure it works for all of us, not just him?
Go!
That raises so many questions.
I will enjoy this.
So you see what's going on here, right? The Golden Lagoon is essentially the entire Transformers series as a microcosm. Autobots and Decepticons blasting each other to bits over a resource with someone else's backyard as the battlefield, except this time the inherent consumption metaphor is made explicit by the treasure in question being the right to bathe in gold. And the final battle is one of the more brutal and excessive looking of the pre-movie seasons, owing to a focus on collateral damage where instead of the usual cool flashy destruction to cities or rock quarries, in this case we're watching Bambi and friends go up in smoke. This episode was pretty much Transformers commenting on itself and the senseless violence for its own sake default setting of most of the stories. The Golden Lagoon might just be the most self-aware 24 minutes of the entire 1980s commercial cartoon canon, punctuated by its somber finale, as the Decepticons make an inevitable retreat and the Autobots celebrate yet another supposed victory that has actually accomplished next to nothing. The camera pans across the blighted remains of this once beautiful place, with only Beachcomber appreciating the pointless futility of it all, as he sums up the events by sighing in bitterness and irony, "We won." Powerful stuff. Transformers looks inward and opts to take a big old dump on the entire setup of Transformers. Moving. Or rather it would be had the episode not actually ended like this.
We won.
Yep, the writers and the animators are trying to make a point, and it's ruined by the music department just sticking the standard heroic uplift stinger over it. Way to kill the mood, Golden Lagoon.
We won.
So, yeah, look, the new Transformers movie comes out this week. I've been wanting to do a big picture about the Golden Lagoon for a long time now, so the stars kind of lined up on this one. Will there be more Transformers? Who can say? For now, I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.